Most people are initially attracted to trading because of this alluring idea of how much money you can make. But a couple months into the journey, you realize very quickly that it's not as easy as what you initially thought. You realize that trading can be very challenging and at times even depressing. And you may read a few trading psychology books and you may come to the rational conclusion that trading is a probability model and that you're going to both win and lose. But despite this rational thought process, your emotional brain is still addicted to the dopamine rush it gets from winning and still wants to avoid the pain of losing. And it's really only the traders who learn how to go one level deeper than this rational thought process to a state of truly learning how to inculcate a probability mindset. It's only those traders who are able to achieve consistent profitability and sustain their success. So what I want to do in this video is share with you why it is the best loser that ultimately wins as a trader. And I also want to show you and share some ideas and tools with you in this exact video on how you can become the best loser possible. Because it's the trader who learns how to become a good loser that can ride the ups and downs of the trading journey unemotionally, and they can stick to their trading plan, they can scale up with prop firms and funding, and they can ultimately build consistent profitability. So let's get into it. Now, I want to go in and develop this idea of why it is the best losers win. And I also want to give you highly actionable and practical things you can walk away from this video with to ensure that you're building consistent profitability and you're less emotional, less reactive in the markets, especially when you lose. Now, very quickly, let's develop this idea of what is trading and really what is our job as traders. And if you think about what you do as a trader, you go into the market and you backtest initially in backtested data to create an edge, to create a system or a strategy that you know will be profitable more times than not. And maybe there's a certain setup when you see 3 specific criteria present, that gives you an edge, or that gives you an idea that price is more likely to move in a certain direction than not. And you're creating this edge based on back-tested data. And when you go through and you have a look at your Excel spreadsheet or your Notion document after you do your round of backtesting, you have a list of data there. If you were to look at it at a glance and you highlighted wins as green and losses as red, through that back-tested data, you would have a probability sequence where it would be win, loss, loss, win, 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 loss, 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 win. So there would be a certain probability sequence. And when you would have a look at your winners, if you're utilizing proper risk management, you'll probably see that your winners are bigger than your losers. Maybe you have a risk to reward ratio of anything greater than 2 or 3 to 1, right? Probably more likely 3 to 1. And you find that your losses are capped at a certain loss, whereas your winners can be at times exponential to the upside, and on average about a 3 to 1. Let's just say that. Okay. So once you've gone through your backtested data and you've identified your specific criteria and you've found that your strategy has a profitable edge, and I'm going to use that language, profitable edge, this right here is a profitable edge. Now what you can see with a profitable edge is that you have both winners and losers in your profitable edge. So by definition, being a profitable trader and a successful trader, you have to both win and lose. And on an intellectual level, I think most traders understand that, which is great. Now, it's a different story when we talk about actually inculcating that and truly embodying and upgrading your psychology to a state where it truly understands that and truly embraces that idea. That's a different story. But I think intellectually, most traders understand that to be a profitable trader and to have a profitable edge, you have to both win and lose. Because then what you do moving forward when you're trading the markets in forward data or real life data or live data, You are waiting for that setup, that specific criteria, that 3 or 4 specific things that you look for based on your back-tested data to give you an indication that you have an edge in that moment. Now, that trade, the outcome of that's unknown really. That may be a win, it may be a loss. But you know based on your back-tested data that you have a statistical probability and a statistical edge in that moment, hence why you take the trade. Now, on that individual trade, it may be a win or it may be a loss. You don't really know necessarily, but over a larger sample space, you know that you can approximate your edge if you consistently execute on that strategy. Okay? So as traders, we don't actually know what the outcome of the next individual trade will be. And as traders, being successful and being profitable encompasses both winning and losing. So when we come back to this idea of why is it that the best losers win, it's for this exact reason. The best losers win because the best losers know how to manage this situation of taking a loss, but very quickly putting that loss in perspective of the larger sample space and not letting that individual loss deter them from coming back and consistently executing on their plan. Okay? Now, let's develop this. Let's keep developing this and let's keep elaborating on it because it's a very important concept. Now, let's say in the markets, the outcome of the trade is a win. And let's talk about the outcome now. The outcome of a trade is a win. Positive win. Okay? And you make money on that trade. Now, in that state of that win, you're more likely to go into what we call a self-exaggerated state. Puff yourself up and have this feeling of invincibility. And it may not be extreme, it may be a slight feeling of invincibility. And when you do go into this state of invincibility, you self-exaggerate and you minimize other. Means you exaggerate yourself, you then minimize the risks in the market. So you minimize risk in the market. Okay? And as a result, you're more likely to force lower quality setups onto the market. And you're more likely to project low quality shitty setups onto the market. This is why sometimes when you go on that winning streak and you feel hot, you feel on, you then are more likely to force lower quality setups onto the market and then go on a losing streak. Okay? So too, if you take a loss in the market, negative, you can go into this state of self-minimization and fear. And if the market presents an opportunity to you, you're too afraid to act. You're minimizing yourself and you're exaggerating risks in the market. So depending on whether you're in a state of pride or shame, you're then going to skew your perception of risk. If you're in a state of pride, you're then more likely to minimize the risk of the other because you think you're bigger and better. Whereas if you're in a state of shame, you're more likely to minimize yourself and exaggerate the risk out there because you think you're smaller and worse. Okay? Now, keep in mind, to be a successful trader, the focus needs to be on the execution of your process, the execution of your trading plan. So the reason why the best losers win is not because the best losers then go into a state of self-exaggeration. This here is what we call false winning. True winning is here. True winning is when you transcend the outcome of positive and negative, win and loss on the individual trade, and you stick to your process. So the best losers win because they know how to, when they go into this state of self-minimization and losing after a loss in this state of fear, they know how to bring themselves back to their processes and they know how to bring themselves back to this state of equilibrium and neutrality so they can get back to execute on their next trade. The traders who get caught up in the polarities of the outcome, loss, win, positive, negative, pride, shame, go through what is called the boom and bust cycle. Right? You guys are more than familiar with this. But they go through this journey. They take a few wins, they puff themselves up into this state of pride, they feel invincible, they start thinking they know better and they can predict what's going to happen next. They start forcing low quality setups into the market. They go away from their trading plan. It's at this state, in this state of self-exaggeration and pride, that they go away from their trading plan. They don't stick to their trading plan. And they go so deeply into the bust that they are laying in bed one night and they realize, what the hell am I doing? And they realize, and they come to the realization that they just need to focus on quality setups because they've been challenged so much. They just need to focus on quality, high priority setups. And they finally go back to sticking to their trading plan. And because they're sticking to high quality setups, they start to build momentum, right? But then so much momentum that they go into a state of pride again. They go away from their trading plan. They go through a series of losses. So the reason why traders get stuck in the boom and bust cycle is because they don't know how to manage themselves. They don't know how to manage the pride and shame that keeps taking them away from their trading plan. Really, a job of a successful trader is to manage your emotions, especially shame after you lose, pride after you win, so you can get back to your process. The reason the best losers win is because they don't get caught up in this dynamic of being ashamed or fearful or angry or resentful to losing, and as a result, they keep coming back to their trading plan, their trading processes. They don't then swing into this positive, prideful state, because that's not true winning, that's false winning. The winning of the individual trade and puffing yourself up into a state of pride is a false win. The true winning is when you are neither proud or shamed after winning. You've just adhered to your trading process. You give yourself a pat on the back for sticking to your trading process, but the outcome doesn't matter to you. The outcome on that individual trade is unemotional. Just like when you're back testing, you don't go through this wild swing of being very, very happy when you win and then very, very sad when you lose. It'd be foolish to do that when you're back testing. But when you're back testing, you're objectively observing the markets and you're seeing the wins and losses come through and you're objectively analyzing the data. Professional traders know how to emulate this to the closest degree possible when they're trading live. Professional traders trade live how amateur traders backtest. They're unemotional to the outcome. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now the question becomes, how can you become a better loser? What are the actual action steps that you can do to become a better loser? Because you're never going to avoid losing. And the traders who try to avoid losing and are so addicted to the positive, so you've got two polarities here. You've got the outcome. You've got two polarities on the outcome. You've got positive, negative, win, loss. Whereas up here, you transcend the outcome and you're focused on the process. The traders who become addicted to winning and try and avoid losing attract the most painful losses. Because based on a probability model, you're going to both win and lose. And the more addicted you are to this positive outcome and the dopamine hit of that, and you're addicted to this, the moment you get this, it's very painful. So the traders who are addicted to the most pleasurable wins attract the most painful outcomes. And they go through a cycle. They get stuck in a loop. Because the loss is very painful, they then disassociate and try and seek another very positive win. And eventually they experience another painful loss because of the probability model. But in their mind, they're attached so much pleasure and positive to winning that the pain that they inevitably attract is very painful. And the Buddha said the desire for that which is unattainable, all positive, winning all the time, it's not possible based on the probability model, and the desire to avoid that which is unavoidable, losing, you can't avoid losing in the market. The people who try and seek after the unattainable and avoid the unavoidable are the most stressed. They're the most distressed people, the most emotional people. Whereas if you learn how to transcend the outcome entirely and just stick to the process of, did I adhere to my trading plan or not, then you transcend the outcome. You transcend a lot of the emotional stuff. And this is ultimately what I teach. So what are the actual action steps you can do? Well, first and foremost, you want to make sure you truly have an edge. Are you certain that you have a profitable edge? Because if you're not certain you have a profitable edge, there's always going to be this doubt at the back of your mind of, is what I'm doing actually profitable? Is what I'm doing actually going to work? So you want to go off and study far and wide, multiple different, maybe trading educators. You learn multiple different styles. You test a lot of different styles. And you develop an edge that you're certain in. Okay? And you do this by back testing through life experience, through trial and error, through learning from other people, through everything you do. And initially, when you're still developing your edge, you want to be like a sponge that soaks up an enormous amount of information. Okay? And then once you have a profitable edge, an edge that works more times than not, right? You want to put that edge into a mechanical trading plan. And the reason you want a mechanical trading plan, a black and white trading plan, is because you want to be able to replicate your actions as a trader. Successful trading isn't about being right once. It's about being right more times than not over a larger sample space. The only way you're going to be able to come back to the market and consistently execute on your edge is if you have a mechanical trading plan that outlines your entry points, your exit points, your risk management, all that type of stuff. And you want to take that edge, you want to put it into that mechanical trading plan. Now, I have a free tool in the description below. It's called the 6-Figure Trading Plan Template. If you don't already have a trading plan, or if your trading plan is lacking and has holes in it, or if you're not certain what to put in a trading plan, I cover it all in that free tool in the description. Just go into the description and download that. It's completely free. Now, once you have your edge and you've put it into a mechanical trading plan, don't skip that step, because if you don't have certainty in your edge and you don't have a mechanical trading plan, you're going to be a very emotional trader, and you're not going to be able to adhere to an edge, and you're not going to be able to build consistent profitability. The third step now is to learn on a psychological level how to be a better loser. And a big part of being a better loser is what I described here. It's the attachment to here. It's the attachment to the positive. It's the attachment to the positive outcome in your mind, the positive expectation of what you think the market's going to give you, that creates a very painful loss if you don't get that. So the first thing you can do is learn how to become aware of your positive expectations of the outcome before you take a trade, what you're expecting from the market before you take a trade, and then ground those through a questioning process. Ground those expectations. Remind yourself, hey Pat, nobody has any idea of what's going to happen next on the individual trade. It could be a winner, it could be a loser. But I don't care about the outcome of the next individual trade. What I'm focused on is consistently executing on a sample space over a longer period of time, because I know if I do that, I'm going to end up profitable more times than not. So reminding yourself that nobody has any idea of what's going to happen next, and you don't need to. You don't need to worry about the outcome of the next individual trade. What you need to worry about is adhering to your process, adhering to your trading plan, transcending outcome-based thinking and focusing on processes. Okay? Adhere to trading plan. Now, I have a free tool that I teach my 6-figure traders, this mindset. It's called the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool. It's a free tool in the description. Go and download that, as well as the trading plan template, and use it before every single trade you take. Use that for 2 months and you'll notice a difference in your trading. I guarantee it. You're going to be less emotional. You're going to be making better decisions as a trader, because now you're not caught up in what you think is going to happen, but you're focused on adhering to your process. And then when we think about it, this is what's going to help you become a better loser. Because if you do take a loss, you're unencumbered by it because you weren't expecting a positive win. And you put it now in context of the larger sample space because you're sticking to a trading plan. So that one loss in the grander scheme of things isn't as significant. It isn't as negative. This is how you can help yourself become a better loser. The other component of this is also addressing, so this is number one, the other component is addressing the subconsciously stored associations. Many traders have a lot of unaddressed stuff in their mind through their life experiences, through childhood, through sport, through relationships, through trading experiences of taking big losses and having those very painful experiences. And they log those in the subconscious mind. And the moment they take a loss in the market, all those previous experiences come up and it leads to having a very painful experience. So part of what I do in the 12-week program, a big part of the 12-week program and a big part of one-on-one coaching also is working with traders to go in there and address a lot of that subconscious stuff. So if you know you're in that situation, maybe message me and I'll be able to share how I can help with that. That's another big component of becoming a better loser. Becoming a better loser. Now, the final component of this is now structuring your life, all 7 areas of life, your relationships, your job, your health and fitness, your learning, your studying, structuring it all into a calendar or a life structure that allows you to come to the markets to execute with a balanced state of mind, factoring in your life as well. So you want to now structure your life in a way that allows you to come to the markets every single day and consistently execute and show up and consistently execute on your trading plan with a balanced state of mind. And if you do that over a long period of time, you're going to approximate your edge and you're going to end up with profitable results. Okay? Now, the reason the best losers win as traders is because you're never going to avoid losing. Never going to avoid losing. You're trading a probability model. The more you try and avoid losing and seek after winning, the more you're going to attract painful losses because they're part of the game. So stop trying to avoid losing, embrace losing, learn lessons from losing, recognize that, put losses in context of the larger sample space. Make sure you have an edge and mechanical trading plan. Recognize that that trading plan, that edge, has losses part of it as well, and that's essential. And then go in there and manage your expectations before every single trade so that you're not attached to a certain outcome, positive outcome in your mind. And you're going to learn how to become a better loser. You're going to be less emotional and you're going to start to build consistent profitability, scale up with funding, all that type of stuff you want as a trader. Okay? If you found this useful, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the resources in the description below. And I appreciate you watching to the end. I'll see you all in the next video.